Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. So, family, this video is about who was Bessie Coleman and why does she still matter? Well, she was the first African American female to become a pilot, born on this day 125 years ago, and she remains an inspiration to many. Let's find out why. Well, family, Bessie Coleman was the first African American female to become a licensed pilot in 1921. Defeating gender and racial prejudice, the then 29-year-old became a symbol for millions of women of color at a time when African Americans were still battling segregation and fighting for equal rights across the country. Coleman, who was also of Native American descent, was a Texas native who developed an interest in aviation after hearing exciting tales of flying from her brothers who were World War I soldiers. While her brothers sometimes belittled Coleman by claiming that French women were superior to black women for their knowledge of flying, that didn't stop Coleman, who went on to pursue her passions and make history. Well, on Thursday, Coleman would have been 125 years old. And to mark her birthday, Google paid homage to her with a doodle on its homepage. And just days before Black History Month kicks off, the doodle was a timely dedication to an underrated black icon. Let's take a look. And so, Coleman, who was repeatedly turned away from American aviation schools for being a black woman, was told by an associate that if she wanted to learn to fly, she would have to move to France. So guess what she did? She learned French and prepared to head overseas. So who was Bessie Coleman? Well, she was born January 26, 1892 in Atlanta, Texas. Coleman grew up inspired by World War I stories and the famous Wright brothers, credited with building and flying the world's first airplane. Despite the obvious barriers at the time, Coleman was determined to fly. After completing high school, she was admitted to the Oklahoma Colored Agricultural and Normal University, now known as Langston University, where she spent a year before heading to Chicago in 1915. In 1920, Bessie Coleman relocated to Paris to learn how to fly. Despite being the only black person in her class and witnessing one of her classmates die in a plane accident, Coleman persisted through 7 months of aviation school and was awarded with an international pilot's license in 1921. For 5 years, Coleman stunned audiences at air shows and only performed at locations that admitted black people. She says, quote, "I knew we had no aviators, neither men nor women, and I knew the race needed to be represented along this most important line. So I thought it my duty to risk my life to learn aviation and to encourage flying among men and women of our race, who are so far behind the white race in this modern study," she famously said. While in Paris, Coleman spent about 7 months learning how to fly and was rewarded with an international pilot's license by the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Upon her return to the United States, Coleman became known for her extraordinary stunts and was dubbed Queen Bess. She continued to face restrictions in the United States and spoke of the difficulties, coining the phrase, quote, "The air is the only place free from prejudice." Bessie Coleman passed away on April 30th, 1926 in an accident during a rehearsal for a show. She was 34 years old. At 34 years old, Coleman's prosperous life was abruptly cut short after mechanical errors caused her to fall from a plane in April of 1926. Nearly 10,000 people attended her funeral, including advocate and journalist Ida B. Wells. As for the aviation industry today, while gender remains one layer of discrimination, African American men and women face another level of prejudice. More than 90% of pilots in the United States are white. In late 2016, a group of 18 African American pilots alleged a pattern of racism at United Airlines, claiming that it had an, quote, utter lack of diversity at the management level, unquote, and systematically kept black employees from entering the managerial ranks. And family, I did a video vlog exactly on that subject where black pilots were discriminated by United Airlines, the not so friendly skies. Anyways, worldwide, the aviation industry remains overwhelmingly male and in most part white. In South Africa, despite apartheid ending in 1994, only 4% of the 17,252 pilots in the country are black, and only 241 are black women. Coleman's legacy continues to live on. And before I go, I'd like to give kudos to Google for honoring Bessie Coleman 125 years later. Thank you, Google. Thanks, family, for watching my video. Peace and love to you and yours. And until the next video, don't forget to love yourself. Thank you.